Yo, what's going on, man? Come on in, have a seat, chill out for a second. It's Blitz, and today I am bringing you TLM shooting guard build in our pick and roll pro-am team lineup. It's controlled by one of my best friends, Jordan. You'll see his gamer tag as TLM Wolf in all of our matchup videos that I ever post, and on the stream, by the way. Go check out the stream down in the description, little plug there. But this build has served him very, very, very well. I'm very excited to bring this to you. And honestly, this has been a little bit in demand. I've had quite a few comments ask for a shooting guard build rather. And I mean, man, this is a great one to start with if you're looking to plug yourself into a pro-am lineup as a shooting guard. Now, let me just tell you, Jordan has turned himself into an absolute sniper on 2K23, a sniper. And especially when he made this build. I'm telling you, he's an incredible shooter with this player. I've seriously never seen anyone green so many shots that are like 5 to 20% contested. He's an absolute dog. Now, how much of that is him just being an incredibly talented player and the other part being this build? I'll let you make the decision. But regardless, I'm very excited to bring this build to you. Thank you for the 600 subs. I really appreciate it. Again, I never thought that it would ever turn into anything real. Nothing like this that like people would actually want to click on and enjoy for themselves, but I'm having a lot of fun with it, and it seems like y'all are too, so I don't think it's too ambitious to start looking our way at 1,000 subs, man. Come on, let's get to 1,000 subs. That would just be, I don't even have the words for that. That would just be straight up incredible. So thank you for the support so far. Let's try to make our way to 1,000, man. Do me a favor real quick, please answer these two questions down in the comments for me. Number one, what builds do you want to see next? And number two, how can I make the pro-am videos better? I did just release a different type of pro-am video with much less edits going on. It seems like there's a lot of positive feedback coming from that one. A lot of comments asking for that and comments on that video already saying that they like that better. So please let me know what you want as far as that goes, and I just want to give you the plan going forward for these build videos. We're going to finish out our pick and roll lineup by releasing Jevon's or RPG's 99 3-point build. We're going to close out the pick and roll lineup, and then I'm going to start releasing the new 5-out lineup that we've been running. I'm going to start releasing those builds and the new ones that have kind of come into play for that lineup. So that's kind of what's coming next as far as the builds and what I'm going to be releasing coming forward. If you like the matchup or the build videos, please leave a like and subscribe, and go ahead and hit the bell so you know the second I drop a new video. And without further ado, let's get started on this build. So I'm actually going to start by just straight up giving you the build that we have been using at this position for our ranked leaderboard climbs and the recent leagues we've been running in. However, I have touched it up and I've made a newer version of this build that I believe makes a little more sense for the current Season 5 adjustments and keeping in mind the recent patches that have come out. But if you want just straight up the build we have used here, this is what it is. It's on the screen right now. I don't mind just handing that out to you. But I have made a newer version that we're going to go over today. It's very, very similar to this one, but it's just a little tuned up to match Season 5. And we're going to walk through the process like I have on all my other build videos. So yeah, we're going to go with a little more tuned up version of this one. So we are going to walk through the process of making this build just like I did on the last video. So first, let's quickly take a look at something that I'm going to start calling the viewer warning. Listen, I will never claim to know everything about this build making stuff. All I want to do is bring you what we have created on our teams, and just using what knowledge I do have to create and show y'all something that maybe gives y'all an idea or helps you out. You know, something like that. And one of the ways I can do that is to give you as much information as possible about the process, about the scope that we're looking through to make these builds, because otherwise I may accidentally mislead people, and that's the last thing I want to do. So here's the viewer warning as you can see it on your screen. This build is specifically engineered for Pro-Am 5v5 and designed to fit into a unique role on a full team. What does that mean other than the obvious? This build is not made to go into randoms rec. It's not made to go in the park. It's made through the scope I just explained. That's where we're starting, and I think that'll help not mislead anybody. Now, can a lot of these builds that I show you on this channel, can they go cross game modes? Yes. Some of them are better at going cross game modes than others. My point is, it's not made to fit into a perfect randoms rec roll. It's not made to fit into a perfect 3v3 park mode. It's not made for that. It's made for ProAM 5v5, and it's designed to fit into a unique role on a full team. Next, I'm going to move into the build creation formula. This is something I designed to simplify the process of making and creating a build, while also helping you not accidentally mess it up in the process. I use this process for every build I ever make, and it's incredibly helpful to me, and I think it will be incredibly helpful to you. So starting at the top, number one, what role am I playing? You have to understand that before you even get started on a build. Number two, what specific attribute caps, animation thresholds, and specific badges are non-negotiable or must-haves on this build? And number three, then you can focus on adding creativity and or maximizing badge counts. So let's circle back around to number one. Let's answer that first. The role we are playing is the 2-guard that can handle the ball, shoot very well from hash, and also be the secondary on-ball lock, or some people call it the hash lock. You're basically the second lock, but most of the time you're guarding the hash shooter. So we put the height 6'3". I'll show you this in a second, but we put the height to 6'3" to be taller than our point guard and play a little bit better defense, quite frankly, a lot better defense. And lowest weight for speed and a 6'8" wingspan gives us that ability to have a 93-3 ball. And again, I'll show you the body measurables before we get into the attribute screen. But first, let's move on to step 2. These are what we decided are the non-negotiable or must-have attributes for this shooting guard build. I'm going to run through them very, very quickly. 86 driving dunk. You unlock Pro Contacts Off 1 and Silver Slithery Finisher at 84 driving dunk. You unlock Silver Posterizer at 85, and you get Gold Limitless Takeoff at 86 driving dunk. That's why we went with that. 93 3-point shot. You want to be a very consistent, deep hash shooter on this build, and you will get Hall of Fame catch and shoot with that 93 3-point shot. 75 pass accuracy unlocks the LeBron package. That is plenty for the secondary ball handler. Just put it at that. 89 ball handle gets Hall of Fame quick first step. No real reason to explain that. We know how important that is. 70 perimeter defense is kind of just like an arbitrary line we decided to draw when we were making this build, as far as you need to have decent perimeter defense to be the secondary lock. Is it great? No. Is it reasonable? Yes, it is. It's reasonable. It'll be enough for you to play secondary lock. So just put it at 70. We're going to start there, and we'll see what happens. We got 90 steal. Silver glove is unlocked at 85, and gold interceptor is at that 90 steal cap marker. And the reason we came down from the old build, if you looked at that old build earlier in the video, we came down because, again, the Season 5, there was a patch or not necessarily Season 5, but earlier than that, there was a patch to Hall of Fame glove. It's just not as useful anymore. So we decided, let's just bring it down to 90 and see how else we can better balance this build out. I'm still an advocate for 99 steel for a lot of different reasons other than just glove. But for this build's specific purposes, 90 steel is fine. Gold interceptor is great. We get 90 acceleration as a non-negotiable attribute. Faster speed boosting for small guards. I'll just be honest with you. If you have a 6'3" or under guard and you have less than 90 acceleration, I think that's a very rough build to rationalize. I think the acceleration is just about the only thing that matters as far as speed boosting and dribbling with the ball. Speed with ball doesn't even mean as much as the acceleration does. It's ridiculous. I don't know. 2K is funny that way sometimes. But 75 vert unlocks the dunk packages that we get with 86 driving dunk. And you see that thing in parentheses. Pro Contacts Off 1 is 75. Guys, listen to me. I've had comments on the video. I've looked it up. Please listen to me when I say this. Pro Contact Dunks Off 1 require a 75 vertical to unlock. I just looked it up on 2K Labs, and I've done this for every single build. If that's not correct, then I have been blind. I must have completely haven't looked at it on 2K, and 2K Labs must be wrong. Trust me, put it at 75 vert. Extra vert won't even hurt you, even if you don't think that's the case. Trust me, put it on. 90 stamina. Stamina for guards dribbling is awful this year, and it's even worse shooting with no stamina. It's so tough to shoot with no stamina. So please, let's start with 90 stamina, and then we'll work our way from there. Those are what we decided are the non-negotiable or must-have attributes for this build. Now that we have those must-have attributes listed out, now we can move on to step 3. Let's take a quick glance at the body settings before we move into that step 3. 6'3" height, 170 pounds, 6'8" wingspan, put whatever body shape you like. Those are the body settings. Now we're going to move into the attributes. Now take a look, I already have it preloaded. Now I have done nothing to this build so far that we haven't already talked about. That list that you just saw is the only thing I've done. Now some of you understand this about the builder, but when you put certain things up, it raises other attributes. But like I said, I promise, I've done absolutely nothing different than what you saw on the must-have attribute screen. But now we have the structure of the build. Now we can move on to step 3, which is adding creativity or maximizing badge points in certain categories, which is what I always tend to do. And keep in mind, I'm going to give you a little plug here. Keep in mind when you're making builds and you get to this step, go ahead and look at what your core badge situation's looking like. I'll just use finishing, for example. We have 12 finishing badges right now. Of course, we have 4 more overall to play with, and we'll fix this, promise. But we have 12 badge points, and look, we know we want to get to this gold limitless takeoff. So you always want 10 badge points in a category, plus however many badge points is your highest tier 3 badge, and you want to do that for 2 reasons. Number 1, it allows you to unlock this badge, because as is, most of you know this, but I'm just going to explain it. As is, you won't be able to even have this badge because you got to use 10 badge points in tier 1 and tier 2 to unlock tier 3, and you only have 2 left, and 2 is not 7, right? So you don't even have enough to run it. But also the second reason you want to have at least 17 is so you can run the badge, but also core your highest tier 3 badge, and then you get the most bang for your buck. Especially, I mean, it depends on what core pattern you're running, but everybody has the base where everyone gets 1 core badge per category. So you get the most bang for your buck out of that. And I'll go ahead and take you down to the defense because it's the same situation. We only have 16 defensive badges as it sits right now. But we know we want to run Gold Interceptor. We know that for an absolute fact. So we can't even run it right now. And also, we're not going to get the most bang for our buck out of our core badge. When we get to 17, hint, we will. We will be able to run Interceptor, core Interceptor, and we'll get those 7 badge points back to us and insert them into our pockets. But anyway, I'm just going to go down the list now. We're just going to go down the list top to bottom, and I'm going to show you what we do from step 2 to step 3 to maximize our badge points and accomplish a few different things. So we're going to start with the close shot. We're going to raise this up to 67. It's going to give us an additional 3 badge points. Driving layup, we're going to increase this to 79. Is also going to give us an additional 3 badge points. Moving down to the mid-range, we're going to increase this to 83. That's going to give us 2 more badge points. Ball handle, sorry, that was my computer notification, but ball handle, we're going to raise this up to 90. Not only does this give us an extra badge point, but also for Jordan specifically, he really loves that Damian Lillard size up escape package. So go ahead, again, it's all about planning. Look at what packages you want to use. Look at what dribbling packages you want to use. He really loves that one, and he's great at shooting off of it. So that was another reason why we wanted to get to that 90 ball handle for this build. Now, 76 speed with ball, we're going to raise that up to 76, gives us an additional 2 badge points. Also, I know that looks weird. This year, I was saying it earlier, but acceleration feels like that's all that matters as far as speed with ball goes. But anyway, that's where we're going to set this. For perimeter defense, we're going to increase this to 4 because it's going to give us 1 more badge point in defense, which gives us what we were talking about earlier, that 17th badge point. Very, very important. Go down here. We bump this up to 80 speed, just straight up because if 75 feels too low, 80. A lot of guards stop at 80 speed. I'll just be honest with you. A lot of guards stop at 80 speed. and a little more speed for defense, for fast breaks, and really the acceleration is what basically matters when you have the ball in your hands. So anyway, that's kind of what we do there. I'm going to come back up to the top, and I'm going to bump the free throw up with however much I can. We go to a 71 free throw, and though that is the final build right there, 18, 27, 21, 17 is the badge counts, and this is the attribute screen. Don't try to outthink this part here as far as the takeovers go. Just put double limitless range. I know you can use a couple different things here, and I don't think any of them are necessarily bad per se, but my goodness, limitless range is just it's so OP. It goes absolutely nuts. I mean, you got people who can green 10+% contested shots from near half court. You run 2 of these. I mean, this build's designed to be a sniper. Let it be a sniper. Don't try to outthink the room on this one. Just run double limitless ranges takeovers. Alright, so I talked about this in my last video, but if I'm being honest with y'all, this is the most difficult part of making build videos because the badge counts can be so different for everyone, because at the end of every season around 39 they give out an additional badge point most of the time. There's even like season 3 they ended with core patterns, which honestly are game breaking in a way. For example, for this build, I mean you can have so many different badge points, it's hard for me to tell you, even have an idea of what to tell y'all to run. So I'm just going to do my best. Like the last video, I'm going to make the assumption that everyone's going to use the normal core badge pattern, and you have the additional 4 badge points that you get very early on in my career. I'm going to make those assumptions because I think those are safe assumptions, and I'm going to base my badge loadouts as advice based off of that. I will give a small hint here. If you do have access to the core badge patterns, you probably aren't looking at these badge patterns because you know what's going on. But if you do have access to that, I would advise taking a look at the double shooting core badge pattern. I think it's incredible for this build. But, however, I'm going to make the assumption that you have the 4 badge points added early on in the storyline and the basic 1 in every category core badge pattern. But this is for finishing. Running, Bronze Aerial Wizard, Gold Giant Slayer, Acrobat, Fearless Finisher. Got Limitless Takeoff Cord on gold. And we have Slithery on silver. I know this is going to be like an eye raise for some people. Again, do what you want. I firmly think that Limitless Takeoff and Slithery is actually better than Posterizer, just in my opinion. But anyway, it's up to you. Just my opinion. That's just how I think. For this build, I think this makes sense. Moving on to the shooting. This is a little janky, but Claymore's a great badge. I would ideally like to run it higher, but Catch and Shoot Hall of Fame is so good on this build. Green Machine Hall of Fame, Gold Agent 3, Gold Deadeye, Gold Limitless Range Cord. I would advise putting 1 extra badge point on shooting, so that way you can get Claymore higher, or maybe you want to run something different as far as the different tiers for Catch and Shoot, so that way you can get Claymore to Hall of Fame. Maybe you do something like this to see if you can get Claymore to Hall of Fame or something like that. I don't know. It's up to you. Figure it out. But this is where I do want to make something very, very clear. You can core Clamp Breaker, the Hall of Fame quick first step, gold unpluggables, automatics. Go ahead and core Clamp Breaker because it's easy. You definitely need the silver handles for days, but also this Killer Combos badge is very, very good on these smaller guard builds. But if you look up at the top, you see I have 4 badge points available. That's why I'm going to say out of your 4 that you get automatically to add into your badge count, I would advise you add 3 into playmaking and 1 into shooting. So if you do the math, add 3 into playmaking, you're going to have 7 badge points available with the current loadout, and then you can get killer combos on gold. I highly advise you do that. For the defense, we have bronze off-ball pest, bronze ankle braces, bronze pick dodger, silver workhorse. Again, none of those are great, but we all know that they're just an ends to a means to get to tier 3, which is going to have our gold interceptor and our silver glove, which is very good on this build. So those are the badges I would run given the circumstances. Alright, that'll do it for this build. Thank y'all so much for watching. Please go back and answer those 2 questions in the comments I was talking about at the beginning of the video. I'll probably flash it on the screen right now. If you enjoy the Pro-Am matchups or the build videos, or maybe do you decide to make this one? Leave a like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when I drop a new video, and let me know in the comments if you are making this build. All right, that's all I got, guys. I'll catch you on the next one. Blitz out.